Kate here. Welcome to my channel. Today we have an interview with Sarah, who's an energy healer. She helps people have that mind-body connection so that they can experience healing. She helps people with all sorts of chronic diseases, and it is just fascinating what she is able to do. In this particular interview, we're going to talk about a few things that she needs for her business, like how to have two different offers, how to have an offer that is a course, which is a super interesting thing to do for a topic like energy healing, versus her coaching program. We're also going to talk a little bit about avatars and some solutions that clear up some problems that she's having. We're also going to talk about how she can take a course on healing and make it so that it's broad to almost anybody who has healing, and then still has modules that are nonlinear that are for specific conditions. Now, an alternative to this, and we discuss it in here, is to take it and make it just for a more niched audience. Hey, we are here today with Sarah. Sarah, can you tell us a little bit about this program that you want to create?
So I am an energy medicine practitioner and I help people heal. And I really want to help people realize that there are solutions to the health problems that they feel aren't treatable. And I've struggled with a way to, whether this is helping them heal in a course or helping them learn in a course. That has been a little bit of a struggle for me to identify exactly the best way to help people start to understand that, wow, healing really is possible for things I thought I couldn't heal.
That's awesome. Can you give me a couple of examples of the types of things that people are struggling with when you've worked with them?
Typically, my clients have chronic symptoms that are bothering them. So it might be chronic Lyme, it might be chronic strep infections, it might be chronic anxiety, might be depletion or burnout, chronic pain, even less huge things like digestive upset, chronic digestive problems or food sensitivities, or even night terrors for children. It kind of runs the gamut, but those are some of the more specific things that people come to me for.
Awesome. So why is this topic, like of all the things that you could have created a program about, why is this particular topic important to you?
It's really important to me because it's my passion to help people realize healing is possible. I had my own health crash and I had no answers. No one had answers for me. Doctors said there was nothing they could do. I ended up with chronic fatigue syndrome, completely burned out adrenals and digestive issues. And there were no resources. There was not a place to go. And so I spent 10 years trying to find answers, trying so many different things until I found something that worked really well. I want to help people cut years and years off of their health journey. We don't need to lose that much time in our life, and we can just get healing so much faster. And that's what I really want to share with people.
I really like that. I had a bunch of back problems when I was a teenager, and I had a bunch of surgeries, like 10 hours of surgeries. And then when I had trouble with my back in my early 20s, the doctors were like, well, we've done all we can. So that idea that you've been given up on, that you're without hope.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a crummy place to be, and it's unnecessary. There are so many things we can do to heal the body, even if we don't believe it, or we've never heard of it, or we didn't even know it existed. It's here and there's a way.
What is the motivation for them taking the program? And we'll have you read your letters here in a second. But I think the other thing is like, why your program versus another program?
My work is very heart-centered. I come from a place of compassion. I'm a spiritual healer. So I'm in alignment with light and love. And I believe that's the strongest power that we have here. And when people feel the power of that healing, it's very different from other healing modalities. The other major thing that is so different about my work is I listen to the body, and I teach people how to listen to their body. And I let the body guide the way. The body knows, the body has innate wisdom. It's very smart and it knows how to heal. And instead, we often believe our body is broken. And so when you put all of these things together, my healing is very gentle, but very powerful and focused because it's It's customized to the person. Even in group settings, the person receives exactly what they need to receive. And when people come to me, the second thought I had in that question is they are desperate. They have tried so many things. They've tried acupuncture frequently. They've tried massage therapy. They've tried nutritional supplements. They've gone to the doctor and they still don't have results. So they're kind of desperate for anything that will help them regain their life. And a lot of them have lost functionality. They're not able to live their life the way they want.
That's a pretty difficult place to be in.
It
Why don't you
is.
go ahead and read your letters? And this is the assignment that I've given all of my guests, where they read a letter that comes from their future client, and the client is desperately asking to be a part of your program. So
Sarah, I've struggled for so long trying to find answers. I thought my body was broken because things that worked for everyone else didn't work for me. I'm willing to make changes. I've done a ton of diets and supplements and more, but I've tried everything I can think of and I'm still stuck, not feeling well. I've had this feeling deep within me, driving me to keep looking that there is a solution to help me feel better. And I'm so excited I discovered your program because this truly could be the missing piece keeping me from getting results. I feel like my life has been on hold. I focus all my spare money and time on my health. Facebook groups, support groups, appointments, supplements, articles, blogs, anything I can think of to try to find answers to help me feel better. It's like a giant puzzle. I'm so tired of not being able to enjoy my life. I just want to feel normal and be able to go on a vacation or not have to bring my food or have a suitcase full of supplements. I'm so excited about your program and cannot wait to get going. I'm so committed to doing whatever it takes. I'm all in. In gratitude, my student.
that's beautiful. It kind of gives you an idea of where their current state is and a little bit of what they want for themselves, like going on vacation and not dragging all that food and the supplements. Like, oh, that would be really great just to go on vacation. You didn't say it in there, but I almost feel like she wants to live a life where it's not centered around her disease.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So go ahead and read the second letter. And this is the letter that she writes. I'm assuming it's a she, that she writes after she finishes your program and she's feeling on the other side.
Sarah, I'm truly in disbelief. I can't really explain how this program has helped my physical symptoms, but I am so happy to report I'm feeling better. Not only are my physical symptoms milder and less frequent, but I'm sleeping better, feel calmer, and I have more patience with my kids. It was just so eye-opening and empowering to realize all that affects our health. I never knew there was a connection between my body and mind. My doctor never talked about it, and when I was a kid, talking about anything in my mind felt so off limits. And energy, well, I just don't understand that. How can you heal me over the phone or over the computer or through this course? This truly just blows my mind, but the results speak for themselves. My dog, who was listening to some of the sessions, is actually doing better too. This is totally changing the way I move through my day. Before, I felt hopeless and didn't know where to turn or what to do to help myself. Now I feel in control and I feel like I know how to move through difficult moments rather than having no idea what to do to help myself. Your compassionate, heartfelt wisdom is so supportive. I feel like I could talk to you for hours. I feel supported in a way I've never felt before. It's actually kind of hard to describe with words. I'm sad the class is ending and I can't wait to keep learning more. What's next? Thank you, your client.
That is beautiful. So when you're working with someone, what is it that you see or sense in someone that helps you recognize that they've broken through, that they've had a breakthrough, that they're turned a corner? They may not even realize it themselves.
It's really what I wrote in the letter. They start feeling lighter and solutions start appearing, the right solutions that help them move forward, whether it's a medicine or a therapy or a supplement, or just being able to handle stresses of life with more resilience, whatever it is. They just feel in alignment with themselves and ease starts coming into their life rather than difficulty and being blocked.
When you're working with them, what is it that you see that says they are feeling lighter? I can see it. Or they are getting solutions. Maybe they don't even recognize that they're tapping into their body's resources.
It really goes back to what you mentioned, the identity of illness. So when we are in illness, we we kind of have to identify with it to get through it because it influences so many aspects of our lives. But as we start to find healing, as we start to find solutions, as we start to find ease, our focus naturally shifts away from that and we start to focus on other things. So instead of asking, how are you feeling today? Oh gosh, the last week's been so hard. My inflammation's been up and my pain's been terrible and my kids have been aggravating me. Instead, it's actually been really great. I actually got to go have lunch with a friend. Those are the kinds of real life palpable changes that just start piling in as we heal. And of course, I can feel it in people's energy because that's what I do for a living. But these are the ways that they just feel calmer. They just feel lighter. They start sleeping better. They're able to calm their mind. They're able to meditate when they couldn't before, or pray, whatever they're trying to do to clear their mind and connect.
How does the student feel as they go through your course? And I'm guessing they feel very frustrated before they start. We kind of get that in the letter. In many courses where there's a transformation occurring, and it sounds like your course will be in that category of transformative, sometimes what they have to go through is pretty uncomfortable to shift a perspective or shift beliefs. Because it's almost like it feels like they would be exchanging one discomfort for another.
So it is very important to start connecting to our old stored emotions and belief systems. That is part of my work, is clearing those for people and then helping them realize when this emotion comes up, you have to connect with it and let it move through you rather than suppress it. Mm-hmm. So sometimes when we begin to do that, especially with, for instance, let's take anger, because anger is one that we frequently suppress in our body. It's not okay for a variety of reasons. When we start working with anger, it can be a little bit explosive at times. So we have to be careful about how we work with it to get it out so that we then can start getting a functional liver that actually detoxifies and keeps us healthy and can digest our food and regulate our blood sugar, versus a liver that is completely weighed down with congestion and can't even function. So sometimes people get triggered, is what I call that. Getting triggered is when a situation in our present triggers our old past pain to help us work through it. And it's actually a gift to get triggered because that's a healing opportunity. This is the discomfort. Usually, once it's happened a time or two, it gets much more mild and easy to deal with. Plus, we understand what's happening. So helping people understand that this happens is part of the empowerment.
Okay, so give me a little bit of a sense of when you work with people, is it over time, or do you have an option, or have you ever tried doing it over a weekend? Not the whole thing, but like initial type of setting up some sort of epiphany.
I do single sessions and I do healing programs that are 5 or 10 weeks long. So I do have a more coaching, it's healing and support is what it is for a longer duration of time. I also have pre-recorded sessions that people can listen to multiple times in a row and kind of get that a little bit more immersive experience. I have taught courses in person that teach people how to move energy that are over a weekend, and those are really fun, but that's not for healing. It's more for teaching how to move energy yourself.
When people are working through these emotions, especially like you said, the anger, do you have clients who maybe meet with you on a Tuesday and then 2 days later they have an episode where their anger unleashed in some way and they want to call you to discuss it? I mean, do they have 911 emergency emotional release type requests?
It doesn't happen often. We always set the intention that we want to proceed slowly. The assignments that I give people are to start small, to start getting in touch with frustration. If they've never felt any anger, the last thing I want them to do is get in a fight with their spouse and have something horrible happen. That's not going to benefit anybody.
Yeah.
So I always recommend small little bite-sized exercises to just start feeling frustration within you, or just start mentioning to your kids that this is making me feel angry, you're not listening to me, or just connecting to that emotion more. Occasionally it happens, but those people are typically the ones in my program who have made a big commitment that they want to move and they want to move fast and they're willing to go deep. So it's a very different client than would be in a course
Yeah.
that I would be teaching. And those people do have support that they email me that they got triggered and this is what's happening. And I help them through that. Usually it takes very little support to get them through that, but usually the healing is more gentle than that because we don't want to create complete chaos in our lives.
The reason I asked that is because I like the idea of the pre-recorded sessions. And I have had this idea that pre-recorded sessions can help also with an emergency.
Yes.
Break glass to get to this particular thing, if you feel triggered or if you are running through something, here's a session of me pre-recording, walking you through this so that you can calm your system.
Exactly. And I actually have one called Calm Your System. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes. They're amazing. These 30-minute, it's like listening to a meditation, but it's actually healing your body and your mind and talking through that. But definitely triggering in response to healing in a class could certainly be a session that I could create.
So tell me, what is your biggest challenge in creating your program?
So my biggest challenge has been trying to figure out if my course should be teaching people how to heal themselves or if it should be taking them through a healing journey. And I've come to believe that it's the second because I've tried the first and I have not been as successful. I'm not talking about teaching a modality. Teaching a modality where I teach someone how to do something like Reiki, for instance, or I teach my own method of healing is very different. That's crystal clear. I'm talking about this blended hybrid approach where I try to help people understand the mind-body connection. I help them understand what energy is and how it affects the body. And then I try to help them learn to tune in to their body and feel what needs to move. That I have not been successful in because it feels like it's not clear. Am I teaching or am I healing? And so I think the message I'm getting is I need to create a course where I'm healing, where I'm helping people walk through a healing journey. And it could be not the content, it could be the marketing. That could be the issue, that it's not a content issue, it's just a marketing issue because it's not landing with people.
Okay, so are you saying that you're not having trouble teaching it, you're having trouble selling it?
So yes, I spent the last 9 months or so trying to launch this program, a 7-week course. And I had a very few people sign up and I taught it anyway. It was an amazing class with a small group of people. It was very intimate and amazing healing that people had. As a matter of fact, I just completed that. And so I have all the content from that, but I feel like with my list and with the people that I've worked with in the past, the people I know are out there, I should have had a lot more people signing up for that. So I missed the mark somehow.
Yeah, I think that sometimes when we have courses, even my business, like people sometimes don't know, they almost need to be educated about the purpose for the course. And so that makes it really hard to market because in marketing, it's not intended for also education. So
Yes.
I think overall, everything that you offer can be a little bit educational because if somebody has chronic disease, they go to the doctor. And so there's already this barrier. You're already, pretty much going to attract more like people who are looking for alternatives to a doctor. So
Yes.
people who maybe the doctors have given up on and they can't find anything. So they're desperate. They can't find anything else. So there is this barrier sometimes to selling something that people need because they don't know they need it. And I know there's marketing terms for exactly what that's called. And I can't remember what it is because I'm an education type person. I'm an instructional designer. But I do have some ideas. One is that you have these courses and then you have your program. I like this idea of helping yourself or let me help you. And the reason I like that is because, and you say it in your letter, this idea of being able to help themselves is so empowering because they're tapping into this idea, I'm not broken, I'm actually far more powerful than I realized. And so this idea of healing yourself, super great. Now, if you say you have one program that's selling and one that isn't, You may want to have the one program that you're doing well with your courses. And at the end of the course, talk about the second course as an option that they can get. It's like, you went this far through the healing journey. Don't stop now. There's another course that's available to you so that you can learn to tap into yourself. That's sort of however you would want to phrase that. So again, I'm not a marketing expert, but I think that because they may need education to understand the purpose and the value of that course, selling it at the end of your other course would make sense. What do you think about something like that?
Well, in my past experience, the people who take my courses to become practitioners and to be able to do it themselves are the ones who have experienced my healing. So they're like, wow, this is amazing. I want to be able to do this for myself. And they're the ones that want to sign up and commit the time and the money to learn how to do it for themselves.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. And I think that a lot of people who you may train into doing this sort of things are the people that are first going to have their own healing journey. And that's great because, it is a great demonstration of healed people heal people. So,
No, I get it.
what is the biggest question that you have that I can answer for you then?
The nugget that you've said that I think really applies to me is sometimes people need to be educated that there is a solution for their problem.
Mhm.
Everyone knows they have a problem in this case. They know that their digestion is annoying. They just don't know that there's a solution. Like they know their acid reflux keeps them up at night and they just don't know there's a solution. So they might need to be educated first that I have a solution that could work for them. And I'm not exactly sure how to do that. I think that's my missing piece. I have a solution, I can prepare it and present it,
Mhm.
but I need to help them realize that this solution could work for them.
It's a difference between an audience that is problem aware versus an audience that's solution aware. So they may be aware that I've got Lyme disease, but they may feel like Lyme disease is pretty much a chronic disease you just have to live with. They may not,
Yes.
they're not aware that there is a solution available. So that is a lot of your marketing type of advice where you would try and connect with their pain points. Are you living with chronic disease? Or do you feel like there's no hope? Have doctors just given you a lot of treatment management, symptom management solutions, and they're not actually, do you have an incurable disease, that type of thing? And then you can say, your body has the answers. That type of marketing is what you're kind of looking for. But again, I'm an instructional designer. I can tell you how to create a program that once they purchase that program, that delivers the solutions that are necessary. That is my specialty. But 2 years of learning marketing, because I've had to take what I know and learn
Right.
how to do what you're talking about, show people how to do it. I don't really have a lot of suggestions for your course itself, unless you tell me you have a specific question, other than the fact I love this idea of giving them the two options, the heal yourself, which is incredibly empowering, or let me help you, which is also empowering, because a lot of times people feel like they're alone. And so that community aspect, or the aspect that somebody's on their side, can make a world of difference.
Are you seeing those two paths as separate courses, or is Let Me Help You really my healing services?
I do see those as two different offers. The nice thing about courses is that you are able to take your genius and package it up in a brain-friendly way and put it out there for the masses. That means it can reach a great number of people. You can't help as many people one-on-one or even in a small group that you can with a course. And that's incredibly powerful. The other is, because a course doesn't require one-on-one time, financially, it is a much easier choice for a great number of people. So for a massive amount of people, they can get access to your genius, and it's packaged up in a way that just makes sense for them. So, not to mention, the idea of being able to tap into your own power and heal yourself is amazing.
Yes, I mean, it truly is. And we all have it. We just don't realize it. In terms of the course where I would help heal, someone would want to heal themselves. In my mind, I've seen courses focused on specific health conditions. So there might be a digestion and food sensitivity course,
Mhm.
and there might be a chronic pain course. Do you have any thoughts on that?
It really depends on how you want to market it. So if you want to market it to everybody, you can market it to everybody and then talk about, this is about the mind body connection and tapping into the power that your brain has or mind to tap into the healing itself. Then within that, you can have specific modules that are for specific symptoms, for
Right.
lack of a better term. So you can have like general foundational principles so that they're understanding kind of what they're doing, that it isn't just woo, that there is like this actual connection that happens between your brain. It's why placebos work, right? So you can explain it in ways that just make sense to just about anybody. So you can explain that foundational stuff. And then as you're going through the paying attention to your body, you could break out modules and saying, if you have issues with your stomach, take this module. If you have issues with your skin, take this module. And then you could lead them through activities that are specific to those particular symptoms. Now, another option is for you to market it to a specific thing, like here's a course on healing from Lyme disease. And then that way you could create different modules and you wouldn't have to have the breaking up. It may be easier to market that because you could, if you did ads and stuff, you could target people who are looking specifically for like Lyme disease and that sort of thing. The marketing is actually easier when you niche down to that level.
Yes.
But the instructional part could happen either way.
I love that. It's like a plug and play because a lot of it would be the same.
Mhm.
There would just be little pieces that were specifically tailored to different health conditions. So yeah, I
Yeah.
love that idea.
I'm really, really not super fond of a strict linear course where people have to complete level 1, level 2, level 3. Now, I know that there are some times when it just makes sense. So if you're teaching math concepts and you're teaching algebra, you have to, know this before you go to that. But when we're teaching adults, and adults who are paying for the course, so they're the ones who are the ones we have to please. They're the ones who are the stakeholders. Giving them freedom to move through your course at their particular level of motivation is a beautiful way to acknowledge their agency, especially in a course where agency matters a lot in their healing because
Right.
they're powerful. And so you're recognizing that. So what I have often done in courses along the lines of this is in the beginning, I will have my clients open with saying, in this particular module, we're going to talk about the mind-body connection. If you're not familiar with this, here's what you'll learn. If you already know about the mind-body connection and you've already read about it, feel free to skip to the next module. So that's, way up in the beginning. So people aren't feeling like, oh, she is wasting my time. I already know about this. I've read books on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point.
Another reason why I'm not fond of the linear thing. And so you can break it out into having these resources that say, here's a module for listening to your stomach. Here's a module if you're having trouble with anger, and it can be affecting your liver, that sort of thing.
I have to think about that. I've always thought linearly, I guess, because I'm an engineer by training. Everything is a process.
Well, I mean, there are certainly times for a linear course.
Mhm.
However, when you think about instruction and the type of courses that exist, in my mind, they fall into 3 different categories. So you've got your academic courses in which the person who is the decision maker is the teacher. So the teacher decides what grade you get. The teacher decides often, not so much today, but in the past, the teacher would decide what the test needed to be, what the objectives were for the course. Then you have courses that are corporate, and the stakeholders are the board of directors or the department head. So they hire these people in and they say, I want people to learn, this, and go ahead and test them that they know that. So they're the ones to decide that because they're paying the money for it too, right? When it comes to courses like this, the person who makes that decision is not the teacher and it is not a board of directors. It is the person going through the course. For instance, when you think along the terms of evaluating the success of your course, the person who decides if your course is successful is not you. The person who decides if your course was successful is your client. So
Yes.
how do you recognize their decision-making power? You give them freedom to work through your course. And you can do it in such a way that is completely gracious. This is what you'll learn from here. This is the benefit you'll get. But if you already know this, go ahead and skip to the next module if that's what you want. Because what I really want for you is I really want for you to get healing. Now, If you feel that there is a fear that they'll take, like say module 4, and they really, really need module 3 before they do it, you can say at the beginning of that module, in this module, we're going to learn, whatever. To get the most out of this, I hope that you've seen all of module 3, because there are some fundamental concepts that are really going to help you get the most out of this. So if you've skipped module 3, I'm going to encourage you to go back and watch that.
Okay. Yeah, that makes good sense.
Yeah, but I understand the whole engineer thing and the whole process thing, but recognize people skip and people's brains work differently too. So
It's true. Yes. And like you said earlier, they're all in a different place. I mean, some people are practitioners themselves, and some people have never even heard of energy. Well, if I'm marketing to that broad of an audience, but for my clients, that's the case. So if that's the case, they're going to be in very different places. They may be able to skip a few fundamental modules for sure.
yeah, absolutely. I actually prefer to do 3 avatars, and I talk about this in a lot of my other videos, but I like to do 3 avatars because you've got your ideal client. But when it comes to learning, when you have a class of so many people, you have that bell-shaped curve, and your ideal client is right smack in the middle of that bell-shaped curve. But you have that woman that's on the entry level, who is on the entry level of age, education, and experience. And then you have that person on the upper end of that bell-shaped curve that defines the upper level. And she's got the most in age, experience, and education. And so when you think about creating instructional design for only your ideal avatar, you can sometimes leave, you're talking over or, talking down to somebody who's at the other ends. So what I like to do is write my course for the ideal and then go through and look at it from the eyes and the perspective of my other 2 avatars. So that way, making small tweaks to sometimes the structure, so you can find the foundational modules if you're the beginner person. A lot of times it's a structure thing, but a lot of times it's also example thing, like what examples are you doing? If you're talking about Daisy Dukes and your avatar's 23 years old, she may not know what a Daisy Duke is, so it's just those types of examples that kind of help you recognize what is going to be the most beneficial for all of your avatars. The other, and I really feel like this is maybe the more important part of having 3 avatars, is allowing for diversity, inclusion, and equality. So a lot of times we tend to see our avatar as a younger version of ourselves. Like when you're talking about this course, I think of myself at 24 years old and having the doctor say, well, there's nothing more we can do for your back pain. And so you've got muscle relaxers, you've got pain relievers, that's all we have. When I see her, and I think about her, I could be tempted to write the course for her. And I'm not thinking about women or even men who may have a completely different background, different symptoms, different upbringing. And so that helps me think about people who have different backgrounds, different cultures. And I'm thinking about the pictures that are in there. Am I representing all the different cultures of people who may come through here, so that every one of my people, when they go through my course, they go, yeah, I can see myself in that.
No, it's very important.
So I think that can help for you in just thinking how to structure your course. If you're an engineer background, that actually is really a cool problem. Instead of looking at it linearly, how do you present a structure of your content so that people with different things can get their particular journey?
Yeah.
I think the other thing that you have, and you probably are already doing it, but it comes up to mind quite a bit, is the tone of your course has to strike that balance of encouragement and that gentle strength. And I'm feeling that that's kind of the tone and the style that you're already providing.
Yeah, I think that's kind of me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely, that's what I'm sensing from you, is that you are that type of person, very strong and very gentle and like a good listener. That's also another thing to consider in the course where they help themselves, is helping them get to the point where they're willing to listen to themselves and be compassionate with themselves and be gentle with themselves, which you probably are already doing. But if you're not, helping them to become that person for themselves.
Honestly, that's a very large portion of the solution is learning how to do those. And it's not easy to learn. It's hard if we're not doing it. And I am a recovering person that wasn't kind to myself and wasn't compassionate to myself. So yes, that's a large part of it.
Me too. I mean, I didn't deserve to be kind to myself, so why would I be kind to myself? So beating myself up, though, never worked. It never helped
No,
me.
it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Do you have any other questions for me?
Do you have any really quick ideas after speaking with me about this topic for a great lead magnet that would help? Like, I would love to do a mini course, like a four mini video series kind of thing for a lead magnet. And I had the idea of doing a boost your intuition lead magnet, but I'm realizing that boosting your intuition is really appropriate for people who want to be healers. I don't think it's appropriate for people who have a health issue.
What is the first aha moment that you get with your clients?
When they realize that the mind and body are connected.
So I think that probably needs to be your lead magnet. I think that aha of like, maybe there's hope for me.
Yeah.
It's not just medicine. So a lead magnet that helps people be aware that there is a mind-body connection. And I'm not exactly sure how to position it or sell it. Again, marketing isn't my strong point, but I think that's what I would go for.
And interestingly, I think I did a master class on that to launch my course. I could probably just take the content from that and use it. So thank you.
Personally, I love the idea of a mini course because people get an idea of your personality and your teaching, because mind-body connection is all over the internet. But you're not competing with Google. What makes your mind body different is you. And so when they have a chance to sit through your mini course for free and they see that as a lead magnet, they're like, I love Sarah. I love her energy. I love the way she talks. I feel like there's hope for me. That's
beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, I can do that. I've been struggling with this. It just hasn't felt right. And that feels very good. So thank you. The thing that you said to me last time was, you have a course about getting in alignment with yourself, but people don't even know what alignment is. So helping them understand what alignment is actually creates your market for your course. And that's, I think, what I need. If I help them understand how important the mind and body are in each other and how things affect the physical organs, then they will understand, oh my gosh, I could actually heal, because this is something I've never touched before, didn't know about. This is an opportunity I haven't tapped into.
I would try, I love the idea of experimental approaches, both with marketing and with classes. So trying different things has been really good. But one thing you could potentially try is, do you ever wonder why a placebo works? If a placebo works 55 to 60% of the time, and your doctor's giving you 30%, chance of success or at healing your thing, then why wouldn't you rather do a placebo? Let's skip the placebo and then tap into the mind-body connection, because it's not the placebo, it's your mind. Something
Cool.
along those lines, and I'm not sure again, but that would, for me, that would make a big difference.
Yeah, no, it's a very compelling example. It's very crystal clear. Well, this is really helpful. I think these ideas can really help me. And I still have that image in my head. It's sticking, of like a round robin instead of a linear course. So there's something about that work, toolkit. And toolkit is something that I've wanted to provide for people before. So it's been in my mind, but never in a course format. So I'm really excited to think about that and let that percolate.
Thank you for doing this interview with me today. I think that your program is incredibly beneficial for people who feel like there's no hope left for them. And that is a very sad place to go. And to have somebody reach out and say, there is hope for you. You are stronger. You are not broken, is powerful messaging.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate being your guest. And I can't wait to put some of this wisdom to use.
Well, thank you for listening to that whole interview. If you're interested in connecting with Sarah, you can see her links below. If you're interested in connecting with me, my links are here. Be sure to like and subscribe, because there's lots more where this comes from.